It is Monday, February 25th, 2013, and today's random screenshot comes from Sukasa Saffron of the Balmung server. Good morning, Eorzea. Now Celestine here, and today we have a special guest. I'd like to introduce Scott Harris. Welcome to the show.
Oh, thanks for having me, Neil.
Well, I understand you're a bit of an artist, and you also have a little bit more artistic impression on things specifically related to some major Japanese artwork. Is that correct?
Yeah, a little bit.
Alright. So, I understand that today you wanted to discuss a little bit more about what you've seen from the art of the game and the designs. So why don't you give me a little bit of a heads up on some of the stuff that you've seen that really perked your interests?
Okay, well, just starting off, costume and character design is something that's been a big focus for me in my own personal artwork. So whenever I get whenever I get my hands on concept artwork, I just sort of pore over it and try and just analyze it, because I have a film background, and a lot of what we do in there is just trying to design the things that work. So outfits and armor and all that fun stuff is probably my favorite part. I got my hands on some of this armor artwork for 14, and just glancing through it, I absolutely love what they're doing here. I mean, from a color standpoint, and particularly the cloth-based gear really strikes out, really stands out to me.
It definitely does look like they've gone from basically the traditional, here's a robe with a hat, to something a little bit more intricate.
Yes, definitely. That was one of the things that I didn't really like about 1.0. It seemed like there were only maybe 5 or 6 styles, and then everything was just different color. Like, everyone was running around with that one scale mail thing that was either blue or white or gray. It was only that, and then everyone had the same artifact armor. But and all the gatherers were just wearing the same stuff. So I'm really, really enjoying the types of variety they seem to be going for with this stuff. Like, I'm just looking here at one of the things that Yoshida-san showed in the live letter of, I can't really read what it says because it's low res, but it's a brown robe with like a red interior, and it's got this gorgeous, like, these poofy sleeves and these gloves, and I just love it. Absolutely love it.
It is, like, they're really showing a lot of different styles with the art. I think that they're really trying to take this game in a much more diverse direction when it comes to the gear. I mean, if you look at the 2 PvP sets, you've got the gold lion there and the white bear that we saw in yesterday's episode, which I'll throw those screenshots up here again for just a quick measure. But you could see 2 completely different armor styles there. What's your thoughts on those ones?
Well, the heavy armor, I'm actually not as impressed with. Mainly, not that it's poorly designed, but I personally like really less flamboyant armor. I know it's a fantasy setting and people really get into that. I like keeping it simple. I always worry about, too, with really pointy armor sets like this, especially this bear armor. Is that what you called it?
Yeah, because it looks like there's a bear print on the picture.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, and there's the hat sort of shaped like a bear. But I'm always worried about clipping with things like this. Something to think about. Lord of the Rings. There's this great featurette on there where they talk about designing armor. And these artists would come up with all these brilliant armor pieces and designs, and then they had an actual armorsmith come and say, that's not how armor works. You won't be able to wear that because the metal plates don't move that way. And it's something to consider when designing armor, even for games. I know we don't have to follow these strict, rigid physical rules, but, clipping, no one likes clipping. So,
no, it looks really ugly.
Yeah. So just something to keep in mind. I always get a little bit worried when I see big, huge armor sets like this, but I'm sure they can pull it off. I mean, they really seem to know what they're doing with this one.
Well, the one part that really drew my attention to the bear one was, if you look, he's got a cape.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a little top heavy there.
I'm kind of interested in wondering if the cape is going to be more of just for that suit of armor, or if we're actually going to get something like a cape or cloak that we can put over our character's shoulders.
Yeah, capes are clip central, so we'll see how that pans out.
Indeed. Well, let's take a look at that a little bit something different here. Let's pan over to the Crystal Tower pictures that were shown in the live letter. Like the giant tower and the large open, looks kind of like a battle arena.
Okay.
What would you say from the artistic standpoint on those ones? In particular, the tower itself.
Well, it's a battle arena. There's only so much you can do with one of those, but I've always just really liked what they've done in terms of ARR, which is their area designs. I mean, if you just look at the difference between 1.0 and any area in 2.0, just the level of depth, attention to detail that they put in. So, looking at this crystal one here, it's just, I'm certain that whatever they do, it's going to look great. Mainly in terms of color. That's something I've been really in alpha. And
yeah, and they were showing some of the...
some of those screenshots, and just all the stuff in the benchmark, just the color difference between 1.0 and 2.0, something that's really popping out to me. 1.0 was almost super saturated. It's one of the reasons why I didn't like going into the Black Shroud very much. The forest was so, like, this super deep, rich green, and it was almost too vibrant. I think they've really pulled that back with what I've seen from the benchmark and some of the concept art, and really given it a more balanced color range, and that's something that's really appealing to me. I don't like blown out colors and stuff.
I can agree with that. I just also at the same time hope that they don't reduce too much of the different texture lighting, because as an example, back traveling around Ul'dah, the lighting in the area would fluctuate between a bright sunlight when you're out in the open to a really wonderful bloomed shade when you get in and around the covered areas with the lanterns.
Oh yeah, I mean that's just the difference between a color design and a lighting engine, and just from the benchmark, just running that, some of the things that they're doing with the lighting and just the engine as a whole, just really showing a lot of promise with what they're looking to do with the game. You know, if you just running the benchmark, if you turn it from like just turning those shadows off, just totally breaks the whole experience for me. I know what they've done. They've got a lot of really soft shading, a lot of really good ambient lighting, and a lot of my friends and I just looking at the quality of that, because lighting is something that's really processor intensive. That's really gonna shadows and lights are what really kills someone's benchmark score. How well they've been able to implement that without just totally killing your performance, we're all really impressed with what they're getting done. I was showing some coworkers the benchmark running on, and not even a gaming laptop, just a normal, very standard laptop, and they're like, "This is medium settings. This is going to be amazing." So I'm just really stunned.
Well, what would you recommend to the developers, just from your own personal experience and perspective? What would you suggest to them to give them your feedback on the artistic standpoint?
Just say more. Just keep doing the more variety thing that they've got going. I know it's something totally different than recoloring something and making something totally new, but I really like more casual style outfits. I think there was a dearth of that in 1.0, especially in regards to gathering and crafting. Everything pretty much looked the same. So I just like more stuff like that, more casual gear, because they seem to know how to do combat gear pretty well. So I'm not even going to tell them how to do that. Just more variety. That's all I want. I want to see more art.
Alright then. Do you have any last things you'd like to chime in before we call this a show?
Nah, I think I'm alright now.
Alright then. Well, that's all we have for today's show. As always, you can leave any positive or negative comments in the box below. You can follow me on Twitter. You can like, share, and subscribe this if you enjoyed the content, and you can send any screenshots or messages on YouTube or through the Lodestone official topic. Once again, this is Nell Celestine and
Scott Harris.
bidding you adieu.